or regions are sometimes going ups and downs, and that's normal. And now there are quite a lot of things going on. We have MOST, which is Bridge for Balkan Music, which was started to be created in 2016, the original idea, please. And then HEMI, which is also supporting not only Balkan but also Eastern and other music. Sounds of Europe, Jan is the representative of this new project, which includes also the Balkan festivals. The artists here are from the Balkans, but beside that, we have in 2019 Balkan World Music Chart as a panel of now 20 panelists speaking and promoting Balkan music through the charts. And also over the last few years, and especially this year, you even have the festivals which are not included in any of this project, like Morgenstern and Rudolstadt, focusing on the Balkan music one way or the other. So this is the good point. So how and why Balkan is in the focus, we will speak. Maybe I give a word first to Klára. You are here as a part of Hangveto team, extraordinary team which already gains so many different projects within Creative Europe and other stuff. You are at the end of the most, I will say, but on the other side you start Upbeat, which is a clear point which is will to benefit for the artist. Klára, your team is, as far as I know, 30 people now. So this is a machine which has to be to be fed with the different projects. But how do you see most as the project which is going to end next year? Your experiences with the most and with the artist. How much improvement was it for the artists, professionals, and festivals, which was your turn, but also for your team inside? How much improvement, as you see? What are the problems? Because many artists doesn't have the knowledge how to apply. Even most was very easy, but also at the end how to deal with the administrative problems. So is it any solution? But maybe first start with your experiences. I told you it will be.
Yeah, you asked a lot of questions, so I will try to address them all. But first of all, I would a bit question this creative title of of the session. I wouldn't support this divide between administration and creativity. I think we are in these projects because we want to combine these skills, and for the love of music, of course. So working with artists means, well, thank God, not only administration, but a lot of nice experiences. So yeah, most, I would say it's not towards the end. I think we are just at the best part of the project when we can still enjoy our results, but the project is still ongoing. But you're right that we just finished last open calls for artists. So we have now an alumni of MOST, over 30 artists. We have been working together with them. And I would say the outreach of the project was quite good. Maybe in the beginning, as the project was also hit by COVID, we had to focus more on communication. So we couldn't really cooperate with all the participants, only online. But I think our communication was really efficient throughout these years. So we could really communicate this mission of MOST, which is supporting the world music scene of the Balkans, erasing stereotypes that are quite present in the region. So through the applications, we could see that the message got through, and we have many amazing artists involved in the project. As for the administrative part, well, I think we try to make easy for the artists to participate, but maybe they will tell us more about it, whether it was really helpful. But from our point of view, we can see, like, and hopefully you can see MOST everywhere. Like we try to be present not only through us as project managers, but through the artists. And we not only have the artists, but managers, the festivals, and this has been really growing network, and we hope to continue. What else?
What was, as you see, the improvement over the last 3 years for all the artist festivals, professionals, but also for you in the team?
Yeah. So yes, at Hangvető we have now a team of 30 people, but when I joined the project, we were basically 2 persons working on it. But the project team grew, and now we are like 4 people just here working actively on the project. So that was an improvement, but it was also thanks to the other project, Upbeat, which was selected in the beginning of the year. So that's how we could expand our international presence and also the team. So yeah, it was a big improvement. Thanks to most that we could grow the team.
So I will just add that beside this administrative stuff, what you said, COVID was a real problem because you were doing online. Now when you do the workshops with the artists in the right place, in the presence of the artist and the people who are working with them, they really feel it. So I just got a message from Zagreb, Dunja Luk, the band which was in Sofia with you. They said that it completely helped them, and the people who were at their concerts 2 days ago said, okay, they were much more relaxed, they have a knowledge and experience from before, but also another strength. So for many artists it's like this. And George, maybe you're also one of the most experienced people in doing, among us, in doing these applications for Creative Europe. So you probably have applied with many things for ages, and you see also the changes within the EU and all these projects throughout the years. So how was it for you to compare the old days, like 10, 15 years ago, and how it is for you now to apply and do this bureaucracy versus creativity? Because you have to have a project, then to apply, then to go through the hell of administration and application.
Well, I think what you just said is the start of any collaboration. So the right way to see things is, as for every artist, that starts from being a grassroots talent, we say, and then rising talent, and then maybe he will become successful in the region, or first of all in the city, in the region, in the country. It's the same for every organizer, and that's why I think musicians, and which is something all of us are trying to support, should first of all understand that they have a more difficult job than anyone else. They have to be creative, but they have to understand that they are professionals. Doesn't matter if you sell Horeca, if you sell computers, if you sell music, you need to know about laws. And then when you start a collaboration, you don't start from the most difficult one. So as in, looking for a sponsor, looking for a partner, or looking for applications, there are as many applications as I have here, national ones, regional ones, municipal ones. So all this is related to an understanding of what it takes to make a partnership. So there are 2 problems. Here in the region, as always, we tend to meet with a lot of persons that I know from PIN. For years, we would meet abroad. Why? Because the foreigners would be interested about what artists in the region are doing. Now, for like 10 years at least, since Creative Europe changed the forms of application, which recently were only addressed to non-for-profit organizations or to public bodies. Okay, now private organizations can also join. Now it's more than 10 years. Okay, then Europe is not the same. Obviously, when you compare the salary in Macedonia, in Greece, or in France, already it's very different. So many problems that are a reality. Okay, and as I was telling you a few minutes ago, not so long ago, maybe some of you remember that Greece was the poorest country of Europe. okay, that our grandmothers and grandfathers were eating from the garbage, all the companies in cultural sector had collapsed. So how can you apply in a project when you don't have already a running company? And when I'm saying company, it doesn't have to be monster company. I mean, you are a company. But when you don't pay yourself, you don't have what they say in European jargon, your self-contribution in a co-funded project. So we start from there, okay? Now, to maybe go to your question. I started, luckily, because I was personally interested in networking. So, by proving in my own region that I was somebody, let's say, slowly, I wanted to altruistically do something for my ecosystem, because it doesn't matter if you're good alone in what you do and no one is good around you. So, and slowly, some partners that I met, paying so many years, you know, my trips to go somewhere instead of going on holidays, started to meet me, and you start to make contacts. And luckily, they had real organizations, and they were interested about networking, and they were inviting us to be co-partners. So they were writing the proposals, they were putting the backup, because one partner is becoming usually the leader. He gets the money, he gets the responsibility to spread the money, to get back what the collaborators are doing. And well, from being a partner in small-scale projects, at the time there were also those equivalents of Erasmus, which are more oriented on education. We started to understand those things, and you always have two things. You have what you need to give based on the European laws, so for Brussels, which usually is the easiest part at the end, in reality, and you have to deal with your national laws, which there are some kind of problems. Long story short, from those partnerships, well, you're building networks, and they grow, and at some point, in 2017, in PIN, we were in a discussion with people who wanted to create a bridge in the region, for the region, and we applied ourselves. We wrote the proposal with Ivan, a friend of Login, for a large scale, so-called, like the, I don't know, the Graal of Creative Europe. But at the time, large scale was 50-50. So it's not that we get the money as for most, and somebody's, you know, have a milky cow. You have to put also your side. And that's where it's becoming difficult again, because we don't have many organizations in the region which are really interested and have the capacity to do so. They are organizing festivals, but Creative Europe doesn't give you money necessary for your festival. They're giving you for training, education, networking capacity. So it takes time. More or less, we needed to find also a organization that could do the bank guarantee. Because don't forget that European Union, we all pay for the European Union. So it's taxes of the contributors. So it takes time. Then the bureaucracy, in short, for me, I think it makes sense. When you take a loan, when you find a sponsor, there's an exchange. So just take the time, write a proposal. First of all, you need to have a solution for a problem. Based on that, you need to find partners to do it. Usually, as the evaluator says in Europe, it would make sense that you create a proposal with people you've already worked with, which is not the case in many other projects. So then you have, except for the problems and the bureaucracy, you have problems related to the knowledge of the partners. Do they have the same knowledge? Do they have the same vision? I think I need to give the mic to somebody else.
No, I will ask one more question, because
Sure.
HEMI is the project you are speaking about, and then you are working with lots of artists, lots of applications probably. And how do you see it from your side? Was it they are really applying in a large number? Because I know from the beginning, I mentioned this Croatian band. The Croatian scene nowadays is really flourishing in case of the world music but then for the first round of applications for most, none of them applied. Even we have the guy who is really pushing them, but they were just slow. Now you see, they see what they were missing. So what was your experience looking from the organizer's point and the leader point?
First of all, as for our colleagues from MOS, we started the project in, I think the kickoff was in October 2019. Finally, we met in February 2020, and that was it.
Perfect timing.
You know, and HEMI is one of the most complex projects of the European Union because we have 3 activities. One is for the artists, which was supposed to be the smaller one. One is for the ecosystem around the artists, and one is for us to manage and become sustainable, which is another cup of story. So anyway, the idea for us was to try and do a kind of small CTEP program, combining training for artists and then the live tour, because for us the focus is that artists, it's not about the touring opportunity only, it's about to check if they can become small entrepreneurs, if they can behave it, and so on and so forth. Now, one of the assets I think in HEMI is that I'm half French, a lot of other friends are also based abroad, and we were already in large-scale projects, lead from other territories, and we saw that when we were doing open calls, they were not, I would say, rich, the so-called beneficiaries of the region, which is why we created HEMI to be only for the region. Now, after 2 years, yes, we received in total 700 applications about artists. It's a multi-genre. And we have already now finished a second edition with a total of 27 and 27, so it makes 54 artists. Already 3 of them had a prize and played virtually in 2020. And last year, finally, we had the second round where it's a positive discrimination for us. We're not choosing the best artists, we choose artists from all the territories on purpose. And from what we hear, and from what we see from Eurosonic, this year 9 of the artists selected will perform there. Last year 3 performed there. And well, Damjan is here, so he will say something about that. Now, it's very important for me to say that because a lot of export offices in Western Europe have done this job for a lot of years, if we don't support MKC and other venues ourselves outside of the project, it's a continuous effort. Sometimes because the artist will go somewhere, it doesn't mean anything. They were supposed to go there, good. Will they go back is my question for me, always, you know?
Thanks. Maybe we should go to the artist there. From your point of view, you are the member of Peria, the group which exists for some time, but now it's really on the rise. As I see, you have been played in the region, but also you have been invited to many places. You also have been part of the most presentation at Womex. How was it for you, and how did you get into most at the beginning? I mean, how did you find out, and was it your idea or somebody else was pushing hard?
Yes, well, I think from musicians' perspective, many times the musicians are so focused on the music itself, and they don't know, they don't learn about these open calls unless they come to some events, they speak to someone. And for us personally, it was also this case. We didn't know about such open calls, and we actually learned from, who was it? Was it Login, or it was Login, right? Yes. Yeah, we learned from Login, and then this application process, like we were at the same time we were applying for different kinds of applications, and I would say the most application was one of the easiest ones to fulfill, because other times it's really like you have to get in this secretary mode. With Kate, we were sitting for hours and searching how to do this properly in the right way, and with most it was so smooth. I will try to keep it short, not go too much into the story. From where it got us, I would say this is one of the best things that happened to us. First of all, from educational point of view, like you meet so many people, you share so much experiences. It's so educational. You learn how to do things, because, as I said in the beginning, from this musician's perspective, you want to do music and your focus is on this, but there are so many other aspects that you need to develop if you want bring your music on a more professional level, and I think this is one of the best ways to do it. So for us, it's been one of the most beautiful experiences, I would say.
Maybe you should tell us about these non-beautiful experiences, because you said you applied for many things. So I guess it's local and national applications. So maybe you can compare them, how they are problematic within the administration, or non-logical things which doesn't have to do anything with administrative stuff, because you have also to report afterwards at the end. But also the second question would be, are you already looking for new applications in Europe or elsewhere, because now you have good experiences? Like, have you applied for Upbeat already?
We haven't actually, but now we are keeping track of all these open calls as we learned more about it. And actually, once you're in this world, all these things keep popping up. But when you have no idea and no contact with anyone, it's really hard, because sometimes I have colleagues, musicians, and they ask like, how did you get there? And I just say, well, we applied, we searched on the internet, and they're like, how don't we see all this stuff? So I think you also have to keep busy with these things and keep getting interested and being present. And regarding your question, like parallel to maybe some local applications, I would say they make it so complicated. Like, most of the times it's not, the application process is not even working well. Like, for instance, like putting a link, then the link is not accepted. It's even browser like issues that are happening, not even to go into these other things. So I would say this is something that maybe they need to work a little bit on to make it more straightforward.
Thank you. Yeah, of course.
Because you mentioned Upbeat, it's quite a new project, and actually it's relevant to mention here what Upbeat. You can have a leaflet there and some bioglitter if you want.
This is what we talked about yesterday, right?
Yeah. So this project is well, the first platform for world music showcases. Well, the aim of the project is to give more visibility to artists, for emerging artists in the world music scene. But the problem what we wanted to find solution for was actually this, to make it easier for artists to recognize opportunities, because although there are many showcase festivals all around Europe, it's quite hard to gather all the information from different websites and open calls. So Upbeat will be really a platform to gather all these informations, and we are also trying to make like our own application system, so that for artists it's really easier to apply to many showcases at the same time. So it's again a tool for artists to get more exposure, get more performances.
It's good. You don't need a moderator. You can go directly from one to another. Damjan, your band Zulu has been part of HEMI selections, I will say. So also would be the same question for your experience. How difficult was it? Was it told by another artist, or again by login? What was how you find out about HEMI?
Like she said, login and internet. You know, it was popping. Yeah. Our experience was very pleasant. We have the chance to play in Athens Music Week and Exit Festival. The application was super easy and very great experience. The bad experience was the road. It's very long to Athens.
Then, I mean, for the artist, how difficult is at the end to do this bureaucracy stuff, which is not how to apply, because some of the applications are probably quite easy. How was it afterwards? You have to prove something, that some costs are there, or is it made easier? It depends. I mean, it's difficult, different.
In our case, it was easy.
Yeah, because we know, and now we are experienced also with the bureaucracy of the partners and the national laws and everything. We've managed to play with the budget lines of the old applications, because now they will be different. And yes, it's an open call, so we wanted to have it. It's not an application call, it's an open call. So name, band, links, you know, so on and so forth. And then because it's, we aim to actually make a kind of evaluation, because as you all know, not everyone is ready to apply somewhere. So we have a first round, and then we played with a kind of easy contracting that was made very easy. If you come, you'll get the 500 euros. If you don't come, you'll have to give back the 500 euros. So we played with this on purpose, so that we actually give that as a kind of grant, a small one, so that the EU says you don't give the 80% in advance and the 20% afterwards, and you give us back the paper. But we knew that, and that's why we did it like that. But it's for small amounts as well.
Thanks for the explication. Also, I would mention the bands that have to apply. Recently, we had the Pocket Glow Festival in Novi Sad, and we make the open call for the artists from Serbia to apply for one slot at the festival. So at the end, even it was simple and easy. You just sent your links and biography and everything, what is normally needed. Some bands were clearly hesitating to apply. I mean, some were fair and like saying, okay, we are playing in Novi Sad anyhow, so we don't apply. But some of the bands, like they were saying, okay, the call is ended in a month time, we have time. At the end, they missed it. So also, it's just plea for the artists, please don't forget, it's important. These deadlines are important. Like most ones had to prolong one, but the other time you will make it shorter. So just you have to follow this. And Jan, Hoozee is our Belgian friend who is part of the Trefboom Festival, which is the leader in the project called Sounds of Europe. That's, as I know, as a part of it, 11 countries and 13 festivals. So for you, I will say it was easy to make the selections. I mean, selections can be much wider, but then, of course, the next point will be the whole Europe. But how was it for you in this round of making the application for the Creative Europe process, especially as this was, the deadline was September 6th?
Well, I also have some background in previous organizations, Ifurus, where I applied for a lot of funds, mostly local. I once was involved in applying for a fund in Interreg with a partner in Lille. So I had some experience. Anyway, the main experience that I had is you have to keep on applying. You have to be persistent. And I think, okay, those European projects, some passed our way. We were once part of a European project started up by Imago Slovenia. That was a small-scale project. We got into it through an Italian partner, Musica Strada. That was quite easy, although the reports we had to give afterwards were much harder, as some of you know. For airplane tickets, you need the proof of payment, you need the airplane ticket, and you need the boarding pass. You need it, as an example. So, and then a little bit later, we started working on a bigger collaboration, bigger network, of which all partners I met, I think, at Womex. And in the end, I applied for this middle scale project, European, in Creative Europe. The deadline was early September 2021. Yes, so I had to work a lot in the summer, in August, which gave us maybe also an advantage, because maybe fewer people were applying at that time. And I thought, okay, maybe I should go for it. So I think in every project or every application that I sent, every subvention that I aimed for, You have to be persistent, but you also have to feel, oh, it's the right time. We have the right network, we have the right partners, the right vision. I think it's essential to have the correct project in front of you. I mean, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to start from, oh, we have those partners, let's think of a project. I think all the people in Creative Europe, they're also not stupid. They also feel when you have a genuine project or not. And I think in the application, be clear, be to the point, and ask what they want. But maybe I want to say something about the artist side. Okay, you also mentioned that artists are applying for certain slots in HEMI and in Most, etc. Those applications are quite small, but from the same experience in Zephyrus, I was managing a lot of bands, I was producing a lot of records, and I think artists, it's great if you know a lot about how this all works, if you have a big network. But I agree totally that an artist should focus on music in the first place, and I think it's sometimes interfering, and it keeps the focus away. But okay, not all artists are in that position that they can have a manager. I mean, there's a lot of artists that want to make it, and there's maybe not many managers. But in a way, also people like Login, they play a small role as a manager. And I think every cultural worker, professional, as organizers, we also have that role to push certain artists, to help certain artists to get somewhere. And I think it's I mean, maybe I'm drifting off, I don't know. But anyway, I feel that now in the position as a programmer at our festival in Ghent and as a project leader in the Sounds of Europe project, I feel I can maybe mean more for artists than in the past, writing hundreds and hundreds of emails, getting one response from time to time in my previous job. So
yeah, also looking from the local calls in Serbia, for example, there is a ministry call to support the Syria concert of one band, and then I mean, that's also a problem of the artists. It was simply written that the minimum amount you can get is, I don't know, 1 million dinars, and if you apply for less, you are disqualified. Just, it's simple, very important, just read all the applications throughout until the end, so you see, first of all, whether this is for you, but also don't lose on these easy things, because you might have a great chance playing elsewhere. I mean, that's everywhere. So you, Klára, spoke about Upbeat and the opportunity, how to work on this. And then my question is for Hangweto, why did you choose to support the artist all the way and so much emerging artists not to work on the big festivals like the others do?
We also have our own big festival, which is... Yeah, but it's also connected to emerging artists. As Budapest Ritmo has this focus, we have one day dedicated to emerging artists from the region. So I think as we are a company focusing on world music, we are always trying to make new discoveries. Actually, this is like the motto of the festival that we are doing, wonders to hear. And I think wonders can be found usually when something new is happening in the music, so young generations, emerging artists. So that was the reason, and of course Upbeat was also created based on the experience what we gathered from Most, because we have 4 different pillars, but maybe the most important one is the one dedicated for artists. And in that pillar, we are kind of making or doing the job of expert offices for the region. So that's how we got more deeper into this network of showcase festivals, and we recognize some common problems, not only the visibility problem, but also like the problems of the industry, like how to make the music industry greener, for example. So we just gathered all these different missions and combined them and created the platform for showcase festivals.
The question is, where will be the special panel for the Upbeat to discuss all these issues, not to just take all the time? But question for George. You have been part of the many projects, as you said, and what would be your suggestion for the new organizations or organizations which are already existing? How persistent they should be? What are the things that they should be focused when they reach for the partner or apply for the European calls?
Well, as Jan just said, first of all, persistence is for anyone, whether you are an artist or a baker or whatever, I guess. Well, you know what we often say now here, for example, in Skopje, to artists that wants to come to Athens. First of all, it's to whom you're talking. I'm like everyone here. I'm an ex-musician. I'm from a music family. I tend to respect people in general. So for artists, knowing that when you're going to a showcase, you will not get paid, I suggest, first of all, that they go to a conference as persons and they go and meet persons. So you're scouting something, right? And you have a plan in your head. So for an organization, depending on if you are a label, a promoter, a festival, a showcase organizer, or you have a small residency camp, well, as the artists are doing, you should dig into the internet, find key names of artists that are playing somewhere, or find key names of venues, find the persons. I mean, it's not Facebook for me, it's LinkedIn. I luckily use LinkedIn for a lot of years, and it's way better than Facebook for me. Okay, now I'm getting older as well, so anyway, but it's a professional platform, okay? And you will be able to see if that person is active, if that organization is active. Then get close to that. I mean, instead of buying an iPhone or something, instead of going on holidays, if you don't have enough money, spend some time to go to a kind of conference or meeting where you could meet those persons. And as we say to artists, when you go to a showcase, the live part is the vitrine, you know, it's just the show off. But the most important part is, did you get into the delegates area? Did you make contacts? Did you try? Why are you sending me emails when you are a metal band, for example? I'm not producing metal. And I will not reply to you because I'm the old schmuck which receives dozens of, hundreds of emails per day, and it's not because I'm rude, it's just I don't have the time to see my wife, you know, so get focused, like make a research, either you are an organization, either you are an artist, and clear out the path when you have the idea, first of all. So if you are an artist and you want to perform somewhere, you know, like for all of us, that your in-kind contribution, meaning your own expenses to go somewhere, have a value. Give that value to something that is good for you, but not only to go and play there. To go and play there and maybe meet at least 2 or 3 right persons. So it's the same for a company. Try to understand which kind of projects there are, try to become a partner of somebody, or do the pro bono thing that all of us are still doing, I think. Find the partners and let's try to write that down. What are you good at? Are you good at selling people or at marketing? You're not good at writing things? Find the person that is good at writing something and create a small partnership of people. That's, I think, you know, it's nothing original. It's the same thing for everything, I think. Just don't run, don't rush, and be persistent, and it will come.
Thank you. So I will now give a word to the audience if they like. I also want to mention this new project by Creative Europe, the EFA, which is for emerging artists, the fund, which is smaller, but this is some grants like €8,000 for the organization of residencies and 3 concerts, for example, in 3 different countries within the frame of 1 year. And also this benefit which everybody should look out is not a huge one, but could be for a band or for a residency, and which is also happening in several parts of the year. So it's not like deadline is now and now it's gone. It's going to last, I think, for another year and a half, and that's the good thing, because the grants are served every like 2 or 3 months.
May I add something? No, because I think also for the people of the region, what you have to be happy about is that although the next storm is coming financially, I guess for all of us, you know what it means to go to the supermarket or to pay the electricity bill. For once, thanks to many of us to logging to others and to others that are not here today, the region starts to be connected. So don't only focus on applying to Eurosonic. Eurosonic is great, or to France or to Belgium. Finally, there are a lot of venues, a lot of festivals, a lot of people in the region. So in your, let's say, master plan, also, not as artists, which usually you are project-based, like album-based or song-based, when you are not that part, think of what you would like to do in the next 2 years. I don't say realize it, but think of that, where you would like to go, and then point out the conference and persist. Go to most, go to Upbeat, go to Athens Music Week, go to HEMI. There are dozens of opportunities which are closer to you, and if you make a good network here anyway, this will maybe give you a better financial income. Slowly try to connect with other artists of the region, co-create, use their networks, give them your networks, and so on and so forth. So it's a bit of everything, and yes, it takes time, but it is a good investment for your own future, which will probably give you the opportunity to assign those things to a collaborator, whatever the name is, if it's a manager or not, and give you then the time to create. But I think it's very important to have that mindset.
Thank you. So we will have one more round of talking with all of you now. If anybody from the audience has some questions, ideas, please welcome.
I just wanted to ask, what is this funding that you said for artists that is going like on a monthly basis, like a few months?
So it's, yeah, EFA, yeah. Yeah, it's sort of for organizations, but then the bands can benefit. I mean, if you are with some organization and then organize, for example, one of the applications we did was, okay, 3 festivals in the region decided to promote one emerging band, and then if there is a grant, that's 8,000 euros, which covers everything, which is nice from EU. I mean,
but how do you apply to that? Where, like, what is the name? Like, how do I find it?
EFA. No, it's not written. I will tell you. It's even something that login doesn't know. Yeah. Yes. Yes, please. I think you will have to. Yes.
Okay, hello. My name is Sasho from Jazz Factory Festival. We were part of the Most project from the beginning, so yes, and we collaborated with Musica Strada. I want to ask Jan about the Sounds of Europe, because last year it was already done when I saw the project and it was finished. So we are interested, is there going to be another call for festivals, or maybe second round for festivals to apply, because it seemed like a very interesting project.
Yes, thank you. We don't work with applications. We applied for funding from Trefpunt as a main partner, together with 12 other festivals. But how we work is with portfolios. Every festival makes a portfolio of interesting artists from his region, from his country, and sends them to all the other partners. And all the other partners choose from that portfolio, or those portfolios, they're not limited. They can be a starting point for further discussion. If they want to have another band from Serbia, for example, I could talk to Bojan. What do you think about this band? And we talk about it. But I think if if your festival would like to be part of this project, it would be in the next round. So, yeah. It might be, but we just started half a year ago, so we will. It's another 3 years and a half, so we will need some time. But honestly, we were already talking about expanding the network. Already think about the future, about making. I mean, it would be great if we could have a partner in every country. But not to lose some other ideas which are in the project, which we would like to realize also is efficient ecological touring, not to do one-off concerts. So those things we have to take into account also. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Natasha. I'm from Belgrade, and I'm a singer in a new band called Škofja Loka. It's named after a city in Slovenia, but we have nothing to do with Slovenia. And we will definitely apply for the HEMI open call. And I wanted to ask, because we are a band of 9 members, and now I'm during these days I've been talking a lot to bigger bands and small bands who have full projects and smaller projects. And what I've been hearing a lot is it's much harder to get gigs or these kind of get through these applications as a bigger band. So I'm wondering if it makes sense to apply with both projects, because my band, we are creating right away remixes of our original songs, because we want to perform in smaller and bigger with full band and smaller band. So yeah, I guess my question is, should we apply with more projects but with under the same name in our band?
Well, speaking for me, you should apply with both projects. Okay, as you can see in showcases, then it's really personal. I mean, we had a project that was selected this year. It was called Alpha Fan from Poland. 9, I hate to say female, 9 persons anyway, which happen to be all women, you know. And obviously, you know, it's an open call, so it's 500 euros we give. And then we personally tried to also offer 3-night accommodation to the guys, because I thought, you know, since they're traveling, we're not giving 1 night accommodation only and we kick them out the next day. We invite them so that they can make the contact during the 3 days. So now with 9 persons from Serbia, if you are selected, I will have to pay around 1,500 euros to make you sleep in Athens, which probably I would not dare to tell you I don't like to invite you because I don't have the money. So I might tell you I'd really like to have you, but that's what I can offer. You see the point? So yes. On the other hand, because I personally live experience, I say you apply with the project and you clearly point out that you have a double solution, and then it's up to you to bargain. I don't know. Yeah, we can speak about that. I have to think about that. No, I think it's one anyway, because it's one name project, right? But maybe in your EPK or in your presentation you can say we have a double opportunity, so that you can be attractive to the I mean, to go to Estonia, for example, you know, I mean, you would probably go through Istanbul, go back to Vienna, and then to Krakow, and maybe arrive. So your price ticket per person would be like, even for you, it wouldn't make sense. That's the problem, okay? But yeah, please apply and show that you have 2-in-1 projects. And by the way, in quick, because we need to have some security, the only thing we do in HEMI, in order to arrive on the second level, which complies one-on-one sessions, workshops, and the booking opportunity, is they have to be punctual and attend those workshops and the one-on-one sessions. That's the only criteria of selection in order to make it easy afterwards and send a contract.
Okay, so just quickly for the second round of questions, most as project for Balkan music managed to have 2 bands on PIN this year, as far as I know. More? 4? And 2 today at the same time. How did you manage to book them for the same perfect timing? So it's Zarina Prva Sevda and Divanhana today. Then the question would be how we should make this happening in the next 5 years, how we should keep the machine going, and also this interested that after HEMI and most is ended, and eventually Upbeat and Sounds of Europe, how do we get to the point where it's continuing story, so that we don't drop the attention of the whole Europe after all these projects are gone? How we can manage that the bands and professionals and organizations keep on going this networking and collaboration?
It's something that has been mentioned before during this discussion. It was a takeaway for us during the project that actually, although we wanted to build bridges between the Balkans and the rest of Europe, what really happened is that we could make really useful connections in the region. It was maybe not our original intention, but we realized that it's working and it's important, and these connections haven't been there before. So I think that could be really the foundation for the future, that all these participants could really grow their network in the region as well. Since we realized this, of course, we try to focus on this alumni building in the remaining time of the project. So actually, just right now during PIN, we have 2 trainings going on for the urban creative project managers who are building up new projects. We have the management training participants who will be maybe managers for the artists who are also involved in most, and we have the artists performing at PIN. So these 3 groups, I think they are really useful for them to work together, and I think that will be the legacy of the project, that these people are connected. But of course we don't want to let go this network either. So Hangvető has found really great partners during this project. We are planning to continue, but with other focus. So we see that during these 4 years we could really address many people. Actually, there are some quite interesting, quite useful overlapping. So, for example, Katarina is here as a most artist, but also as a manager. So people are learning different skills. So we have to find now a new mission for the region, for new problems, new solutions.
So now Katarina will be the manager of Zarina, but also member of Peria. So Zarina needs a management. I'm joking. Maybe how do you see this improvement on the case of Peria, but also you have met lots of people in this ghetto of ours, Balkan and world music. How do you see it in 5 years? How to make things going on for you, your band especially, but also how do you see the broad picture? Please.
Actually, I also wanted to add to Klára that, and somehow combine these 2 questions, that I think even when these kind of projects are over, it's never really over, because during this whole process you learn so much, you meet so many people, and for us it has been so great. We have met organizers, bookers, like we learned about so many festivals in such short notice, and this just keeps growing. Every time we go to a different conference or a different showcase, we meet more and more people, and it just keeps expanding. So I can say I don't see this kind of projects really ending. I just see them growing more and more. Somehow I see it like this.
Thank you. Damjan, have you made the contacts with the bands? That's one of the things which is important. I mean, it's easier, I think, to make contacts within the artist than the other, to make the, maybe not networking, but sharing experiences, sharing the gigs and this kind of stuff.
Yeah, some of them, yes. And we all have the same struggle. You know, we must be educated with the bureaucracy and other stuff. But it's the part of everything. No.
But have you already planned things to go ahead with these collaborations, or just exchanging info?
We have something in mind, but we must
keep it
think
secret.
about it. Yeah, I'm a late person.
Yeah, okay, so that's one of the next projects. Okay, how all the musicians can really speak and represent and answer all these questions about, because Jan and George and Klára are pretty much experienced, although we had there at the music conference in Belgrade. So Jan, you as a guy from central country in Europe, which is having the administration all over your country, the European administration, how do you see whether with this Brussels administration the creativity will prevail, or the crisis and administration will prevail?
But some people, I think you also applied for, in the same round as we applied for Creative Europe, you probably also applied with Upbeat. And if, to answer your question, I have the impression that Europe changed 180 degrees. And where before you had to give those tickets, etc., as I mentioned, now it's a new system with deliverables. So in work packages, etc. But you have to create in advance your own deliverables. So in the system you put, okay, those are the results of all the concerts that Ring Ring did in Serbia in 22. The next deliverable, it's the promotion in 23. Third deliverable, it can be the capacity building sessions in 24. And afterwards you put in the PDF with the description of what happened, with some pictures, with links, etc. Just the PDF, so no financial reports for now. And it's a total twist, so if you, to answer your question, creativity will prevail.
Okay, so I can end with this line, but of course you are here what we are for. So please ask your questions if there are any, and we are here to try to answer creatively.
I want to ask about Athens Music Week. Like, is there any, like, what is the specific, what does this showcase festival like give to the artists?
Is about? Well, I can answer after if you want, in case there are other questions related to the topic. If there are not, I could answer now. But
are there any other questions, or everybody wants to go to Athens Music Week? Yes, we all go.
Can I go back to just to add something about your previous question, where the bureaucracy or the administrative side afterwards with has been gone, is gone now, or it's about those deliverables. The harder part is before the application, so it's in the process before you sign the grant agreement. And Bojan, you can definitely admit that in some cases you have to send a lot of documents, send them again, go to your bank, get a new financial report, send it again. And I think their system is not 100% operational also. but I mean, it's on both sides. But another example was a Dutch partner, Francis de Souza, from a Hout festival. He, on his passport, his name is Franciscus, I think, but he put Francis in the system. He had to go to a long process to change that, do everything again, and he got fed up. He almost totally lost his nerves, and he's a professional.
Well, I have another one. We won a medium scale now, and I'm in the system of the European Union for at least 10 years. So we have the pick, think, tick, quack, everything. And I wanted to change my email contact. I still don't have an answer. And we won, and I have now to do an electronic signature, and it needs to be a PLF something instead of Lear, instead of this and this and that and that and this, and wow. But the project got granted, so I'm happy anyway, you know. And I wanted to also make a little comeback regarding what you say for the most HEMI bands, whatever. What I'm very happy to see now, because we took a prolongation, so we will finish in December 2024. What I'm happy to see is that I saw Pulup, you know, the band that was here yesterday, for the first time in an application in HEMI 3 years ago already. I didn't know nothing about Estonian bands at the time. They were not selected in the second round, but they were selected in other projects. They are playing at Eurosonic, and I see a recurrence. Bands that have applied, they won a first part of one project. So don't see us as projects, first of all. We are humans from the sector which do care about this, because I also remind you that it's a co-funded. It's not that we get the money and we spend the money. So don't think of us as projects. Second part, not all of us, we are big families. You know, we are humans, so sometimes we're in a good mood, sometimes we're in a bad mood. Sometimes we are also the organizer of the Athens Music Week or of something else. So I hope at least when we meet with persons, we do our best. But again, we're not projects, we're persons. And we have organizations. And like all of you, some days are good, some days are bad. Having that said, again, yes, there are many of us now in the region, and more and more and more. And yes, it will be tough to reapply, because without the support of the European Union, many things would not be done. So hopefully we can bridge also, and that's what we all try to do. We're not different. We try from different perspectives to connect. And yes, all of you who have organizations, as I was saying to Jan before, we are not in this call, and we understand that they already have a lot of things to do, but we are interested to join as associates, if we can do something, if we can be an asset. So you say that, you contact the person anyway, and maybe when the time is rightful, they will come back to you.
Yeah, so they are looking like we are over the time. The lunch is almost ready, so thank you for being here in such huge number. Thank you for all these nice words. Creativity and also collaboration will prevail, hopefully. Keep our fingers crossed. Thank you a lot.